Welcome to the Worldwide Golf Insider Podcast. Hello, everyone. Tom Brassell here. Thanks so much for joining us. Worldwide Golf, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can shop at any of the 90 retail locations or 24/7 at worldwidegolf.com. You know, the game of golf, more than half of it, for most of us, is played on or around the greens. And you take another 80% of that, and it's on the green. And joining us today is somebody who's forgotten more about putting than we'll ever know, Mr. Jim Grundberg, the president of SeeMore Putter Company. Jim, thanks so much for coming back on with us, man. It's great to see you.
You're welcome. It's great to see you, Tom. Great to be on the video podcast.
Yeah, audio and video. Now we're moving into the new millennium. But thinking about putting and how we grew up in putting, there were very few choices to make. You know, it was either a blade putter, it was maybe an answer type putter, left-handed or right-handed, and Gary Koch and us were talking about this a few weeks ago. What did he do to become a good putter back then? Nowadays, there's so many things in play. You've got face balance putters, you've got putters with balls on them, you've got long putters, mid-length putters, oversized grips, long grips, golf balls with lines on them. Don't get started on the training aids with, mirrors and things like that. Talk about SeeMore Putters and how the rifle scope technology and all that you guys have done over the last 25 plus years simplifies all that and makes putting easy again. Because all we're trying to do is roll a ball into a hole that's 4¼ inches. That hasn't changed. Talk about what SeeMore does to simplify all that.
Yeah, I think really even since Payne Stewart put the putter in play, he was the first one that kind of showed the world what a SeeMore putter could do if operated properly, which is sort of let the putter do the work. And so you talk about putting, there's like every part of the game. We make it way, way too complex. There's so many different variables. People are searching now to get fit for putters, which is a great thing, because I think it is so much of the game, Tom. And, you get fit for drivers, you get fit for irons. Most players have not really spent time trying to get fit for a putter. But SeeMore does simplify things. We try to eliminate variables. That was the original goal. If you looked at the original FGP putter that Payne Stewart won the U.S. Open with in 1999, the greatest putting performance still in U.S. Open history. And then Zach Johnson went on to win 14 tour events, a couple of major championships, always because of great putting. Usually, if you look back at why somebody wins a tournament or a major championship, at some point, great putting is involved. Sometimes it's great ball striking, but usually there are a handful of players that are striking the ball great. You have to make the putts when they count. And when you and I go out and play in our weekly game, it's the same thing. We have to make the putts. If we're going to get close to our personal best score, we have to be making putts. So in order to make putts, you don't want to complicate things. You want to simplify things. And so SeeMore Putters have had two built-in technologies, one of which I think a lot of people know about SeeMore, the other of which only recently have we actually had a reason to start talking about. First one, hide the red dot, Tom. You set a SeeMore putter down, you hide the red dot, and you see the two white lines. It's very simple. There's no offset in this putter. So the shaft is vertical, and you use the bottom part of the shaft, which is painted black, to hide the red dot, and it frames the face beautifully. You're square to the face. You know that your body is square to the putter. So it helps you. Hiding the red dot helps you with your posture, your alignment. It makes sure that you're in balance and ready to make a proper stroke. The second technology, which is built into so many of our putters, including the original FGP, is what we call face balanced at impact. And right now, there's other companies that are talking about balance to the plane and lie angle balanced and trying to keep a putter where the face is going to return to square at impact. Well, we've had that for 25 years. The putter that Payne Stewart used did that. So if you watch the performance of Payne Stewart, Zach Johnson on the greens, they hid the red dot, which let them know that they were set up to make a perfect stroke. And then they really light to medium grip pressure and just let that putter swing. Don't fight it. Don't try to manipulate the stroke. Don't try to hit the ball. Just use the simple pendulum concept. A longer putt, you bring it back a little bit further, and then you just let the putter sort of swing naturally. And that has really been one of the untold stories of SeeMore is that when players work with SeeMore, they've got these two benefits. The one rifle scope locks you in so you're square and in alignment. The second one, which we call face balance and impact, means that the putter is designed with no manipulation to return to square. And any golfer at any one of the worldwide stores can go out and they can grab that FGP or an FGP mallet or one of our great center shaft blades, and they can just sort of grip it lightly at the end, whether they want to try a saw grip or something like that, a claw grip. Even if they don't putt with that, the demonstration will show that when they bump that putter out to 70 degrees and they let it swing, they will see that that putter is swinging on a very, very slight natural arc, but that it always comes back to being square when it's at the bottom of the arc, and hence where you would hit the ball.
Jim, you mentioned Payne Stewart a few times. People may not remember. Talk about what he was fighting back then. Wasn't he doing forward press and upright and all kinds of things, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the problem with the forward press was that it introduced a whole bunch of new variables. If that forward press changes, and it does, a half a degree, 2 degrees for some people. Well, each time you do that, you're changing the loft of the putter, you're changing the face angle of the putter. And so, it may, forward pressing an iron, may help you trap that ball and get maximum compression. But in putting, I mean, what you're looking for is you're looking for precision. And so a straight up and down 90-degree angle shaft with a face that's milled in at 2.5 degrees, that's what our putter faces are milled in at, allows you to just let that putter do all the work. And Payne Stewart, you're right, known as a great ball striker, but hadn't won on tour in over 4 years. He'd lost a heartbreaker the year before at the U.S. Open at the Olympic Club, but he really had to get hot with the putter, and he felt like there were only a few weeks of the year that he could get hot enough with the putter to win. Well, when he put the SeeMore putter in play, he and his caddy Mike Hicks worked with it, and they felt like actually he was going to become a much better, more consistent putter week to week. And not only did he win the U.S. Open, he won the first week he put it in play at Pebble Beach, and he actually led the tour in putting statistics the entire year. And that was not Payne Stewart's traditional strength. So having the comfort of having that alignment, that red dot, what we call rifle scope technology, and then building a putting stance where you could just watch that putter just glide through and come to square. So he practiced with it for, literally 5 to 10 hours, won the first tournament he put it in play, and then he just kept getting better and better and better with it. So I know that his caddy, Mike Hicks, who is still a prominent individual in this sport, having been a part of that U.S. Open, believes that Payne Stewart with the SeeMore putter became the best putter he could be, and he believes anybody can benefit from that same technology.
They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I think it was about 7 years ago or whatnot. I was at a major manufacturer and a new putter out and put it down with it. And they said, now just get that dot and hide it. And I kind of turned and looked at them. I said, is this new? And they said, well, it's new to us. It did. I don't know that putter lasted very long or whatever, but you will have others probably copying or some sort. But talk about how you at SeeMore, you've stood the test of time with this technology. It's really, really amazing because not a lot of technology lasts like this.
No, but I mean, it's a basic alignment technology. So, I would say what technologies do last. I mean, I'm not a gun owner myself, but I've shot guns recreationally, and I know you wouldn't perform as well if you didn't have some sort of alignment system built into it. It's a precision sport, and it's got alignment built into it. And that the whole concept of a rifle scope or having 2 lines when they get in alignment, that you've got a straight line heading in the direction that you want to go. So I think that's the nice thing about the rifle scope technology. It's really hard to improve on that. I mean, it's an alignment device built into the putter that the USGA said, yeah, that's fine, because you still have to pick the line of your putt, right? But it helps you get in alignment with your putter, and it helps you get in the right position and the right posture and the right stance every time. So it's a genius concept. It doesn't really change. And, we, of course, golfers like new things. And so we change finishes, we add inserts, we tweak designs, all the fun things that golfers demand. And many, many golfers who love their first SeeMore putter to death and feel like they never really need to change, they'll still buy more SeeMore putters because they love the fact that They can actually even go from a blade to a mallet with a SeeMore, and it's a very easy transition because they're still hiding that red dot, and so the putting stroke is still set up for them.
Well, Payne Stewart, 1999, was the first major championship, right? It wasn't the only major champion. And what's even more remarkable to me with all this is you're not paying these guys the tons of money they're receiving from other club manufacturers to play their equipment, but talk about some of the other major championships.
Yeah, and I think that's there's nothing against having a person be a paid staff member, but a lot of the big companies have that with the staff members are asked to support their brand, and so a lot of golfers, of course, as they get to the highest levels, they tend to fall in line sometimes with those manufacturers. Zach Johnson, Payne Stewart at the time, they found the SeeMore putter. Exactly, you're showing the Zach Johnson signed Masters cover 2007, and Zach Johnson at the time, Vaughn Taylor, they were influenced by Payne Stewart. They had been young golfers who thought Payne Stewart was a great role model for them, and they saw that he had performed his best with the SeeMore putter, and so they wanted to try it themselves. A gentleman named Pat O'Brien, who is still a SeeMore Global Putting Ambassador, who's the director of instruction down at Lakewood Country Club in Dallas. He was friends with Payne Stewart, and he was involved with the transformation of Payne Stewart's putting game. Pat studied that. He worked with Payne Stewart a little bit as a friend, and then he took it out to the mini tour, and he basically showed two young guys, Zach Johnson and Vaughn Taylor, how this thing could help them. They worked with it. They both became two of the best putters on tour, and Zach went on, of course. He won his first 5 weeks on tour in 2004, and then 2005 and 6 had great years. Qualified for the Ryder Cup team along with Vaughn Taylor because of the great putting. And then that 2006 Ryder Cup was nothing to write home about as far as the U.S. is concerned. But Zach Johnson found a little something, and I think the world saw that this guy Zach Johnson was a fighter. And first major championship after that Ryder Cup was the Masters in 2007. And horrible conditions, but he just stuck with it and stuck with it. He made 6 birdies on Sunday and passed a whole bunch of big names, including Tiger Woods, and won that Masters. And, from there, he just kept winning and winning and winning. And 7-8 years later at the 2015 British Open at St. Andrews, the same thing happened. He went into the final round in 15th place and made 10 birdies on the last round, including a 3-hole playoff to win the British Open. So nice bookend for that career. A guy who everybody would consider to be a great guy, a super hard worker, but not blessed with the longest distance and the greatest probably physical tools. But wow, did he use his mental game and his putting prowess and his strategic game to formulate a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, it's all about getting the ball in the hole. Let's make it simple. As few strokes as possible, and many of them are spent on the green. Couple things, Jim, before we get you out of here. First of all, it's 25 years since Payne Stewart. I'm sure you've got some commemorative stuff commemorating that U.S. Open victory.
Yeah, and if you go to if you go to a worldwide golf shop, and most of the worldwide golf shops will have a stock. And one of the things we did this year, which was kind of fun, is we put a bronze gold finish on our classic line, and so that certainly pays tribute to the very first SeeMore putter, which was that bronze gold and Payne Stewart. We did, if you go to SeeMore.com directly, we actually had some putters in a vault that were actually the original material that came out of the original mold, same putter that Payne Stewart used, and they had been engraved with a commemoration. And we held some back for the 25-year anniversary. So if anybody goes to SeeMore.com that's interested in sort of memorabilia, something for the man cave, something for the wall, I'm looking at your wall there behind you, something that'll really make a statement. We do have some of those available on a limited basis. And again, with worldwide golf, we know that serious players, whether competitive amateurs, competitive juniors, can all benefit from SeeMore, because you will become a better putter over time. And I think the biggest challenge we have, Tom, is that we don't have the resources to market, and pay tour players. So for a lot of players, the assumption is that because we're not everywhere, because we're no longer in the spotlight, maybe maybe there's something that's passed us by, but they really haven't. When we get college level players, amateurs here in our studio, or they go to a store and they work with somebody and they learn just those two simple things that we talked about, hiding the red dot and letting the putter swing to square and feel it, they will become a much better putter, and they will start winning their high school, their college events, their club championships. And really that's where we have the most fun, is helping golfers who are on their way up. And, you know, if somebody else is smart enough on the PGA Tour to turn down some money and put a SeeMore putter in play and commit to it, we will have more major championships and more wins on the PGA Tour. But we don't live and die for that, because what we hear from every single day is from customers that have bought putters in the stores and worked with somebody. Wow, this has changed my game. And that goes for all of your fitters and all of your salespeople within the Worldwide Golf chain, is that we encourage them to reach out to us. You know, we want players who are also in the industry working with your company to have a chance to get a SeeMore putter in their hand, personal use, so they can share that with their customers. So it's kind of an old-fashioned strategy, person to person. Hey, let me show you what I use and I'll show you how it works. But we know that the sales service level at Worldwide Golf is second to none. And when a golfer walks into one of your stores, I know one of the great things is that somebody will approach them and can work with them. So we're calling all sales associates at Worldwide Golf to get certified. We've got a really cool certification that will help them stay up to speed on all the greatest technologies that'll help the golfer with the SeeMore putter, and then hopefully help their own game as well.
Jim, we'll get you out of here on this one. Thanks for coming on our podcast, but you have your own podcast now, the Putting Couch podcast. Talk about that and how people can find that and help them become better putters.
Yeah, the Putting Couch is a really fun podcast. We've sort of slowed it down this year a little bit, let everybody catch up. It's sort of like a Netflix series. You know, you need to go back, and there are a lot of golfers that need to go back and watch. We have a ton of great content. So it's called the Putting Couch. They can find it anywhere that they listen to podcasts, and they can peruse. There's some on instruction. There's some with just great stories from tour players and tour caddies. There's some on the mental game. And so it's all things putting. And people that do listen to the Putting Couch tell us over and over, wow, that is a really great, just who would have thought there could be a podcast just on putting? But it's nearly half the game, Tom.
Oh, that's awesome. Jim Grundberg, old friend of the show, old friend of the Worldwide Golf family. Thanks so much for spending the time with us, and we'll catch up down the road soon. Thanks, sir.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Tom. I appreciate it.